Hiya, I'm Kaya, and this is the fourth and final episode of the TV series I've been doing with the Living Room TV. It's Introduction to Yoga. So I've just been going through some basics just to get you into your flow, lay some foundations. We've been going through a lot of a few of the different physical aspects, but energetically we've worked from the root all the way to the crown. So we've worked on our hips, which is your root, your lower chakra, as well as your sacrum, second chakra. We've worked on our core, which is your third solar plexus. Last week we were doing heart openers, so working on our shoulders, opening the heart area. We're moving up to the highest chakras today. So we're going to be working on inversions. An inversion is any position in which you come into where the heart is above the head. So in theory, downwards facing dog or pyramid pose, or even a forwards fold is an inversion, as well as having your legs raised while your back is flat is also like a beginner level inversion. We're going to be going through some warm-up exercises and different progressions. You don't have to go into the inversion today, you don't have to go all the way to the final pose if you don't feel to today. It's also recommended to not go into any inversions, this is for the ladies there, if you are menstruating, because it's just encouraging the opposite flow of energy to which your cycle is naturally flowing in, but that's completely up to you. I personally do inversions during my time, just if it feels a little bit off, then just listen to your body. Nothing should be painful. Things might be a little bit uncomfortable, but if anything that I guide you into is painful, then you don't need to do it, or you can adjust and modify as necessary until it's not painful. So we're going to start off with some little warm-ups. So the inversion that we're going to be working towards today is a pillar headstand. So it takes a lot of strength in your neck and shoulder muscles, as well as flexibility in your wrists. It's also going to take a lot of core, control and strength, and the main thing is confidence. You are, if you do go into the final posture, you are going upside down. So I've obviously been practicing for a long time. I can do it without a wall. You have the option to go against a wall if you do want to try coming into it today, but take it slow. If you do this on replay, then you're doing it on replay because it's not a live session, but you're welcome to pause it and break it down and just practice each part as the video progresses. So we're just going to start by just steadying the breath. The breath is really important, as I've been going into throughout the sessions. It is the key to your life, it's your life force energy, and we emphasize controlling the breath in this practice, because once you can control your breath, you can control your mind, and once you can control your mind, you can control your body. So that's what we're going to start with today. And we're just going to take our first few moments lying down. So we'll come into Savasana, which is corpse pose or a lying down position. Feet around about shoulder width distance or wider. Hands 1 foot away from the torso, palms facing the sky, eyes closed. And just settling into stillness here. Just noticing where you are now, physically, emotionally, mentally. Just taking a quick check-in with the senses. It's normal for your mind to be still caught up in whatever you were doing before you practiced today, or whatever you may be doing after you practice. So just observe what's going on for you, what you're experiencing in this moment. And we'll gently rain that awareness inwards by coming into the breath. So just settle your awareness briefly in the area of your body where you feel your breath movement the most. And that could be the rise and fall of your stomach or your chest. could be the flow of air alongside your throat muscles. That could be the cooler air as you inhale and the warmer air as you exhale through the nose. And just recognise this point as your anchor to the present moment. So if ever the mind wanders, if you feel like you're in a particular challenging part of the practice, you maybe feel a little anxious or nervous, just return to this point, return to the breath. Gently deepening the breath by sending it into your lower stomach as you inhale, filling up the lungs from the bottom all the way to the top as you inhale. First expanding the diaphragm, and then expanding the heart space all the way up to your collarbones and tops of your shoulders. And then exhale to release. First emptying the diaphragm, and then emptying the chest and ribcage until the lungs are completely empty. Before beginning again, inhaling into the stomach, and then the chest, and then exhaling from the stomach, and then the chest. And just continue this deep breathing for a few more moments, not forcing the breath too much so the shoulders or the face become tense. Intentionally keep your facial muscles relaxed, your shoulders relaxed, the whole body relaxed as you just breathe naturally, but a little bit more intentionally than you may have been doing before. Always just observing any changes within your being, perhaps the heart rate, the body temperature. Aware of external environment. There's always going to be things distracting you, and just notice if your mind attaches to that. The world doesn't stop when you step onto your mat or step into your practice. So just as we observe what's going on with us internally, we observe what's going on externally. And one of the limbs of yoga is pratyahara, which is withdrawal of senses, which is where we learn to not allow anything to distract us. Don't allow things to pull us away from our practice. We allow everything to be as it is, without trying to change anything that we're experiencing. Gently begin to bring some movement to the body, wiggle the fingers and the toes. Circle the wrists, circle the ankles as you take a full body stretch, taking the hands up and overhead. Inhale deeply. And exhale, bring the knees into your chest. Extend the heels up to the sky, press the palms into the ground. I'm just going to gently warm up the core. So we're going to do leg raises. This is one of my favourite core exercises because it's not only good for your abdominal muscles, it's also great for your hip flexors, it's great for relieving any lower back pain and preventing lower back injuries. So already in holding your legs up straight like this, you should feel something happening in your abdominal area, maybe even your hip flexors. So intentionally press your belly button towards your spine, so you're minimising that space between your lower back and the mat, or the ground if you're not using a mat today. Hands pressing down to help stabilise yourself, keeping the feet flexed and the legs as straight as possible. As you inhale, drop the legs towards the ground. Hover them around an inch off the ground if you can, and exhale, come back up. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. We're going to go for 10 of series, so move at your own pace. If you can't bring the legs as far down as I can, that's no problem. You've got a few options. And as well, your back, especially for women, and the way that our bodies are shaped, your back will naturally lift a little bit off the mat. But you should still be able to control your descent. If you get to here and you feel like you can't and your legs just want to drop and your torso lifts, that's maybe dangerous. You could injure your back, you create a lot of compression there. So you've got a few options. You can bring the hands underneath the hips for some extra support. You can bend the knees slightly and tap the ground with the toes. You can do one of these options or both of them together. Or you can just reduce the range to which you're moving. So if you get to here and you feel like you're losing that activation, that control, just come back up from there. Again, you can use leg bend and the hands and the hips if you like. And just work within your own range. Okay. So once you've done 10, plug the knees into the chest and take whatever movement you need to feel relief. And then we'll come to sit up. Find a position where the spine can be straight and the shoulders relaxed. So we're just going to loosen up the neck muscles here. So we'll take the head around in circles, moving slowly. And this is where we can identify any tightness in the neck or shoulder area. If you do experience any tightness or discomfort, then you can pause there and explore the area. Send the breath into where you feel the sensation and visualize an expansion around it, allowing space. It's important not to tense and constrict around any discomfort or pain or tension, because all that does is hinder us from healing. Move in the opposite direction. Inhale, point the chin to the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, chin to the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Keep going 3 more times, following the flow of your own breathing. Back to center once you're finished. Inhale, look to the side. Exhale, center. Inhale to the other side. Exhale, center. Lovely. 3 more times. Moving with the flow of your own breath. Tip the head over to one side, feel the stretch down the neck. Bring the fingertips to the ground to create a little bit more length. The arms are straight but not over-activated. You can keep your elbows slightly bent so your arms are relaxed. Back to centre. And over to the inside. Alright, so come onto our hands and knees. So we're going to start to warm up the wrists. So finding a tabletop position, shoulders come over the wrists, hips over the knees. So imagine your hands to be, part of your hands to be a suction cup, you know, the things that you stick to tiles like shower shells and stuff. So you really want to be gripping the mat with all four corners. Your knuckle, this bit of your fingers will be lifted slightly so you can grip the mat. And as you inhale, just bring the shoulders in front of the wrists, just so you're keeping the arms straight. You'll feel a stretch across across your wrists and lower arms. And coming back. And forwards. And back. If you want to get a little bit more out of this, you can tuck the toes underneath as you come backwards, just to stretch out the feet. Maybe round and arch the spine as you do so as well. Just come into a little bit of a fluid move. And also getting the shoulders working as well. We'll walk the hands just in front of the shoulders. Tuck the toes, lead with the hips as you lift up into a pyramid pose. Lift the heels as you roll forwards. Again, shoulders will come over the wrists. Bring the knees down, lift the hips and roll back. So we're waving the body. So don't overthink this too much. Just move, flow with your breath. So we're working the core here, the shoulders as we press through the ground. As we lift the knees. You want to feel the shoulders activated here. Lovely. Last one, let's hold this plank position. Breathe deep. Engage your pelvic floor muscles, so squeeze your anus and sex organs. Mulla bandha, it's also called. Imagine you're trying to stop a flow of pee midstream, that's the muscles you activate. Squeeze your bum cheeks together. So upward pull of the lower organs. Knees come down, exhale, hips back to the heels. Rest your first down on the ground. Arms come down the side of the body. Breathe. Allow your shoulders to relax. Spine to round. And lifting back up. So moving slowly here, we're going to bring the backs of the hands onto the ground. Slowly start to press your wrists down, again keeping your arms straight. Just for a counter stretch here. Turn the fingers inwards towards each other. Bring the palms flat as you turn the fingers away from each other. Rock side to side, round in circles. Just loosening up. It's also a really good exercise, what we've just done for musicians, artists, anyone who uses the hands and arms a lot. Really good preventative and remedial exercise. Or therapeutic, whatever you want to call it. Alright. So give yourself a shake off. So I'm going to walk you through the different variations to pillar headstand. Again, you don't need to go all the way into the pose. You can stop at a particular variation and practice that one. Don't move on to the next variation until you feel comfortable in the one where you are. So, first we'll start on our knees like this. Bring the hands around about shoulder width distance. You can lift up your hips slightly. And try and bring the crown of your head down. So look at the positioning of my elbows. My elbow is over my wrist. So I'm not like this, I'm not like this. This is the foundation, this is where you build your base. If you imagine it like a tripod, if you have the hands too close to your head, your surface area is smaller. So you're more likely to fall backwards. Again, go next to a wall if this is your first time or you're new to this practice. So your whole palm of your hand should be in contact with the ground here. Grip the mat as we practiced before. And maybe you just want to stay here and get used to being upside down. That's fine. If you do want to go further, tuck your toes underneath and lift your hips. Come on to the tips of your toes. Already here you should be drawing your belly button in so your core is activated. And try to lift your hips high so your back is as straight as possible. There will be a slight curve there. Again, stay here if that's enough for you, or tiptoe the feet forwards towards the hands. Stay here, or bring one knee on top of the elbow, bring it down, other knee on top. Continue practicing that. Maybe bring both knees on top, maybe hold it there. Breathe. So, stay here, or maybe lift up halfway into an upside down chair. Focus straight in the spine before you go further. And final option, extend the legs to the sky. Straight line from the ankles down to the head. Core is active here, legs together. The core is not just your abdominals, it's all the muscles attaching to your hips. So everything's working together. Take some deep breaths. In for around about 5, but as long as you feel comfortable staying there for, and then slowly make your way back down the opposite way to which you came in. My descent was a little bit quicker than that, just because, you know, I've been practicing for a while. But when you do make your way back down, round the spine, try to bring your knees back onto your elbows, and then bring your feet down. That's another option. So, resting in child's pose when you're finished. Taking a few deep breaths. And again, you can pause the video and practice each position. You can keep coming back to this video as you progress through your practice and stick with one of those variations for a few weeks, a couple of months, however long it takes you to feel comfortable there. The main thing is patience. Have patience with yourself and confidence. So you may be watching that and thinking, oh, she makes it look so easy. I've been practicing for years, you know, so be patient with yourself. Don't force the body into any position that it's not ready to go into. We always want to work with today's body. So you might have days where certain things feel more comfortable than others. That's completely normal. You know, you're not regressing at any point. Your progression actually comes from when you recognise that, you know, even though you can usually do something, today's maybe not the day. That's progression. That's you challenging your ego. You know, not being attached to what you can do and being comfortable with, you know, just missing something out one day. So take your time with it. Breath, always come back to the breath before you move on to the next stage. Your breath is your key to your balance, your core, as well as the core of your balance, core of your stability. And that's about it. So I hope you've enjoyed this little series that I've done. If you do want any more information, you can hit me on my Instagram, Kaya Hannah Health, Kayya Hana Health, Health. I almost forgot how to spell health then. Or my email, which is my Instagram name, followed with @gmail.com. Find me in Alexandra Park, doing sessions there, and here at the Night Centre, hopefully in real life, not in the not too distant future. Alright, thank you for trusting me as your guide. Shanti, peace, peace, peace.